Hello everyone, welcome back. This video is for grade 10 History Chapter 2 Nationalism in India. In the last video, we discussed about the introduction of this chapter and the three places where Gandhiji started his experiment on Satyagraha. We also discussed what was Satyagraha according to Gandhiji, and those three places were Champaran, Kheda and Ahmedabad. Now, back to back, there were movements which were started for freedom. And after Ahmedabad, there was one more satyagraha, which was Rowlatt Satyagraha. Let's see what is this Rowlatt Satyagraha. So, Rowlatt Act was passed. Basically, Rowlatt Act is a law which was being passed by the Britishers. Rowlatt Act 1919. It was hurriedly passed by Imperial Legislative Assembly. Imperial means Britishers. Legislative Assembly means the Parliament. Together they passed this law. The act gave the government power to repress the political activities. So there were political activities by Gandhiji and many other people were to get freedom. Right. So the act gave the government power to repress or power to stop the politicians their political activities, and the political leaders can be arrested under this act and kept in prison without trial for 2 years. So got the point. So basically in nowadays, if a person is arrested within 24 hours, he has to be presented in front of magistrate. During this Rowlatt Act said that once arrested without trial, they can punish him for 2 years. That was Rowlatt Act, and it was basically a inhuman act itself, you can say. Gandhiji opposed this unjust law. It was inhuman, unjust law which was being passed by the Imperial Britishers. So he opposed this unjust law. He launched Hartal, that is Rowlatt Satyagraha, and the date decided was 6th April 1919 on the basis of non-violent policies. And basically he did not take up violence. Gandhiji started this Hartal or Satyagraha on the basis of non-violent policies. Non-violent rallies, strikes, protests were started in many parts of India. So there was no violence. Peaceful struggle was started against this Rowlatt Act, and Britishers were afraid as it was an organized protest. Britishers saw this Rowlatt Satyagraha as an organized protest for the first time against them. Okay, this was an organized protest against them for the first time. To control all this, British took various steps, and one was that they fired on peaceful procession in Amritsar. So this you can, in a peaceful procession in Amritsar, you can connect this to Jallianwala Bagh. This provoked people to take up violence. This is Rowlatt Act. So when was this Rowlatt Act stopped? Let's see. Jallianwala Bagh incident. That is, you cannot, when you speak up of Rowlatt Act, you cannot leave Jallianwala Bagh. When you speak about Jallianwala Bagh incident, you cannot leave Rowlatt Act. So, both are interconnected. Okay. So, the action which was being taken in Amritsar is on this incident, Jallianwala Bagh. The action taken by Britishers during Rowlatt Satyagraha is connected with Jallianwala Bagh. When people took up violence, British imposed martial law. So that is, people were basically not trained. When there was Rowlatt Satyagraha, people also in some areas took up violence against the Britishers. When they took up violence, and on this peaceful struggle also, Britishers passed a martial law. Now, what is this martial law? Under this law, people must not gather in a city or they must not move in groups. It was a sort of curfew. On 13th April, people gathered in Jallianwala Bagh. After imposing this martial law, people had gathered in Jallianwala Bagh. Some people gathered for Baisakhi fair and some to discuss about Satyagraha. So people were unaware of the martial law. People didn't knew what is this martial law, who imposed it, for what reason it was being imposed. People were unaware of this. General Dyer, this is the main person, took command. He closed the exit and fired on crowd. Many people were killed. Many jumped in the well to save themselves. In Jallianwala Bagh, there was a well. In that crowd, there were women, children, aged people. So they all, to save themselves, they jumped in the well. When they jumped in the well, overlapping each other, many of them died. This angered the crowd. People took over violence. Thus, there was clash with police and attack on property in and around the city. So when this incident happened, lots of people died. Many people, innocent people died, and there was clashes, and people could not struggle taking up non-violence. Now they were angry. They took over violence. They started attacking police station. They started attacking British property and putting fire everywhere. So violence was taken over. Government took it as an opportunity now. When this violence was took over, now government took it as an opportunity and responded to the violence with brutal repression of protesters. Now this brutal repression means they started beating them, threatening them, punching them. All these things started. Gandhiji was upset as people took up violence and lots of people died in Jallianwala Bagh incident. He came to a conclusion that people are not trained for non-violence protest. Thus, the Rowlatt Satyagraha protest stopped. So, this was the end of Rowlatt Satyagraha. That is, and this incident is, you can say, and it is an unfamous incident which is to be remembered. Lots of Indians were killed, innocent Indians were killed in this Jallianwala Bagh incident. And the dates in this you can remember that Jallianwala Bagh, 13th April 1919, and Rowlatt Satyagraha, 6th April 1919. So these all are 1919 only. So you cannot separate these and write. Whenever you write about Rowlatt Act and Rowlatt Act, you have to mention Jallianwala Bagh. Jallianwala Bagh, if you write, you have to mention about Rowlatt Act. Then there was side by side there was Khilafat movement also. When Jallianwala Bagh incident happened, on the same side there was Khilafat movement which was coming up. What was this? In this, Khalifas were there. Who are these Khalifas? Khalifas were the spiritual head of Islamic world. So Muslim world. They were Ottoman Turks. Basically, Khalifas were the Ottoman Turks. Now, Ottoman Turks, if you remember in 9th standard, they were the central power which lost to France, lost with France, and allied power, who lost with allied power in First World War. Okay, so they were Ottoman Turks who were defeated in First World War. Turkeys are central power in the First World War. So there was rumors that harsh treaty, peace treaty was going to be imposed on Khalifas. So basically harsh peace treaty will be very bad. That is during Tipu Sultan also in Srirangapattanam there was harsh treaty by taking away his 2 kids. So it was a harsh peace treaty, means it will be really bad. So there were rumors that harsh peace treaty would be imposed on Khalifas, wherein they would be disrespected and will not be allowed to enter the mosque. So as Muslim sentiments were attached to Khalifas, the Indian Muslim masses were also angry. Okay, here in Jallianwala Bagh, Hindu Hindus were angry on that incident, and in this harsh peace treaty, the rumors of harsh peace treaty, Indian Muslims were angry. Okay, and this angry mass of Muslim protested against the British by Khilafat movement. You might think why they are protesting against Britishers. They have lost in First World War. Why Britishers are being held responsible? If you remember, Britishers are the part of Allied power. So they wanted to fight against this Britishers. Okay, so Khilafat movement was launched by Khilafat Committee formed in Bombay in March 1919. Again in the Khilafat movement also March 1919. Okay, all the three events 1919. Only date differs. 6th is Rowlatt, April 6th. 6th is Rowlatt, and 13th is Jallianwala Bagh. Okay, and this is in March, Khilafat movement. So the two prominent leaders of this movement were Muhammad Ali and Shaukat Ali. This is one mark question again. Now, non-cooperation movement and Khilafat movement. What is the connection between these two? Gandhiji, along with other leaders, saw this Khilafat movement as an opportunity to unite Hindu and Muslims in India. So there was two incidents which were happening. One is Khilafat movement was coming up, and the other was the Jallianwala Bagh incident which had happened. So Gandhiji and others saw this an opportunity to unite these Hindus and Muslims in India and fight against the Britishers. Both were angry against the Britishers. Because Hindus were angry by Jallianwala Bagh incident, Muslims were angry by Khalifa's disrespect, that is Khilafat movement. There was a Congress session. Usually Congress people had meetups here and there to discuss the nationalism, to discuss for freedom, to discuss how Britishers should be thrown out. Okay, so these all things were being discussed by the Congress. So there were sessions, and one of the session which was called as Calcutta session in 1920 September, which proposed and demanded non-cooperation movement. Okay, it was being planned, or the idea was proposed or given. The idea of non-cooperation movement was given in Calcutta session 1920. Now, what is this non-cooperation movement? With the help of Hindu and Muslim, that is Khilafat movement, and the Hindus in India who were angry with the incident of Jallianwala Bagh, he wanted to start a new movement which had a proper base called non-cooperation movement. Who wanted to start? Gandhiji wanted to start. Now, Gandhiji in his book Hind Swaraj, again this is one mark question, his book Hind Swaraj said that British rule in India is due to cooperation of Indians. So basically if you cooperate with someone, then only he can rule, right? Unless you don't cooperate, the person cannot rule you, right? So if Indians refuse to cooperate, British rule in India would collapse. How should this idea become a movement now? Gandhiji said it should be unfolded in stages. So this non-cooperation movement should be unfolded in stages. So basically not cooperating with Britishers is this non-cooperation movement. Firstly, he said surrender the titles that government awarded. He said give away all the titles that government has given, like doctor, then Nightingale, all these titles you have to give away. So then boycott the civil services. Basically what is boycott? Stop using. Boycotting is stop using or refuse something which was been accepted earlier. That is to boycott. Okay, so he said boycott civil service, army, police, courts, legislative councils, schools and foreign goods. According to Gandhiji, by boycotting goods and services, these are the services which we cooperated. Okay, which we cooperated with the British, so these were running. If we stop this, they will automatically shut down themselves, right? According to Gandhiji. So he said, by boycotting goods and services would lead to attacking the economy. So if we boycott these goods, directly we are attacking the economy of the Britishers, and it would be like breaking the bones of British, according to Mahatma Gandhi, by boycotting goods and services. Okay, so first thing in non-cooperation movement, you got to give away the titles, then boycott goods and services. Then he also said that in case of government, that is British, used repression means used threat or used brutality or bet the people, means then what Gandhiji should do. He said that if Britishers started the same thing as it was done during Jallianwala Bagh incident, then full civil disobedience campaign would be launched, he said. Okay, so if government uses repression, or repression means what? Beating, threatening, putting them in jail, all this is called repression. If British uses repression, then we will start with civil disobedience. This is again a new separate movement only, that we are going to discuss it later. Okay, so this is non-cooperation movement. Now, there were a few challenges also in this non-cooperation movement. People started following Gandhiji. They basically started boycotting things, but there were few leaders, few challenges, but few leaders didn't accept Gandhiji's idea. There were few challenges in this non-cooperation movement. Leaders within Congress were reluctant to boycott council election. Okay, so he also said that we will boycott elections. Gandhiji said that we are going to boycott election, but few were against this boycotting of council election. Some feared violence. Some felt that if the same thing happens like Jallianwala Bagh, many people will die. So they feared, they were afraid, people were afraid. There were debates among supporters and opponents. Finally, in Nagpur session of Congress in December 1920, non-cooperation movement, NCM is non-cooperation movement. Non-cooperation movement was adopted. Okay. Now, this you got to remember, very important. Proposal of non-cooperation movement was in Calcutta session September 1920, and it was accepted the proposal and started the finally it was adopted in Nagpur session December 1920. How did the movement unfold and who participated in it? Let's see. Now, non-cooperation movement meant different to different people. Okay, non-cooperating meant different to different people. It was different in towns, different in countrysides, and different in between the tribal people. Okay, so it was different in different areas. So non-cooperation movement in towns, how was it? In towns, many of them responded to the call of Swaraj. So Gandhiji called up for Swaraj. Swaraj means our country. Okay, so but the team meant different things to different people. Middle class participation was by the students who left government schools and colleges. Teachers and headmasters resigned. Lawyers gave up their legal practices, and elections were boycotted. Justice Party was the Madras political party, which was the party of non-Brahmin. Okay, elections were boycotted, but Justice Party did not there was a Justice Party which did not cope up with the idea of non-cooperation movement. It said that it was a Madras political party which was the party of non-Brahmin people. Brahmin people were not there in that. They did not boycott the elections because they felt that they can gain power through participation in council election. That is, they felt that from early days Brahmins are holding power, as there was hierarchical system, caste system. So Brahmins are holding powers, and now when we are getting some opportunity to make a position in the council, then why should we boycott, was their idea. Okay, but still Gandhiji proposed to boycott the elections. Then foreign goods were boycotted and liquor shops were picketed. Again, picketed means standing in front of the shop, holding hands and not allowing the people to get into the liquor shop. Okay, you all know what is boycott now. Boycott is stop using goods which was been accepted earlier, foreign goods. Okay, which in turn affected the British economy. The import of foreign clothes halved between 1920 to 1922. That is, rupees 102 crores trade import decreased to rupees 56 crores. You can say just by boycotting, the economy was hampered. The British economy was hampered. Okay, and one nice thing happened is production of Indian textile increased. So Indians started, as foreign goods had stopped, Indians started producing their own textile. Now again there were limitations, challenges or problems for non-cooperation movement. That is, non-cooperation movement generally slowed down in cities. Why? When they adopted in hurry, like in with lots of josh, you can say, they adopted non-cooperation movement, but gradually it slowed down in cities. Why? Because khadi clothes produced by Indians were expensive than mass produced mill clothes. This is mass produced means at the time clothes were raw material were taken from India to England, and there the clothes were prepared in masses in factories and then sent back to India, and it was sold in a cheaper rate. But here khadi is quite costly. The question was how long the poor would buy this costly khadi cloth. Okay, they stopped using the khadi cloth. Then there was absence of alternative Indian institutions. There were no other Indian institutions, schools and colleges. The question arose, how long would they sit at home? Thus, people started going back to British institutions. Schools, colleges, lawyers started their practice. Teachers started teaching back. So these were the few problems or challenges which were being faced during non-cooperation movement. So next video will be on non-cooperation movement in countryside and by the tribal people. Okay, so hope so you all understood clearly. If any doubts, you can ask me in the comment box. To see the previous video, you can link through the description. So thank you.